Welcome, everybody, to this episode of the Women in Technology Spotlight. Today, I have with me Khadijah Amusat. She is a software developer, a blockchain developer, an active contributor to open source projects, and very active on GitHub. I'm so happy to have her with us. Welcome, Khadijah.
Hi, thank you. Hello.
Thank you so much for giving us our time and talking a little bit about your journey into tech. Do tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'm from Osun State in Nigeria, but I'm based in Dubai. I'm a software and blockchain developer, as you already said, and I'm also an entrepreneur. I do mini importation on the side, and I'm also a part-time model, fashion model. Yeah, I enjoy playing tennis, going to the gym, swimming, and traveling in my spare time. And I also enjoy writing technical articles for my blog and contributing to open source projects. I love doing all of that. Yeah.
So, of course, I looked at your LinkedIn profile and I see you're a very, very active young woman. And I also saw that recently you you added your 700th contribution to GitHub. Is that right?
Yes.
So you're actually doing a lot there. And what I would like to know is, so you're a software developer, you're a blockchain developer, you work on open source project. What exactly do you do? So tell us a little bit about your daily life.
Yeah, I write ReactJS, which is a JavaScript library for building user interface and Solidity, which is an object-oriented high-level language for implementing smart contracts. Smart contracts are programs stored on the blockchain that runs when predetermined conditions are met. I love working in tech because building products that makes the world a better place excites me. And I also enjoy working with people from different races, culture, time zone, and from the comfort of my home. I don't have to leave my house and I'm getting things done. And lastly, tech is a very lucrative job. I mean, everybody gets a fat paycheck at the end of the month based on their role and their skills. So yeah, that's why I enjoy working in tech and yeah, what I do basically.
So you touched on a couple of things that I always mention when I talk to other women about why I think they should be working on tech. So what is you get to work in a very multicultural environment, you get to work from home remotely, right? So you're flexible. And then there's the money. Yeah. A lot of women work in jobs where they're not paid that well. And I think going into tech will give you the opportunity to do all these different things and then still get, like a good amount of money at the end of the month.
Sure.
And what I like about your story is that, we have these pictures in our head of people working in tech, and usually it's a man and it's a young white man. He sits with a hoodie in front of his computer, but you're not like that. You're actually the complete opposite. You're this young woman. You mentioned that you're modeling, you're the absolute antithesis of everything that people expect of someone in tech. And what is interesting is, how did you get there? What made you go into tech?
Okay, so growing up, I always wanted to be a neurosurgeon, right? And yeah, but in school, I went to University of Ilorin. I studied anatomy, and then I switched to public health education. And then after school, I completed my NYSC at Ministry of Health in Lagos. And then that was what inspired me to work at organizations like WHO and UNICEF. So one day I decided to go to their website to check for their job requirement to see if I need to upskill or if I'm fit. And then I saw that they said you need a basic programming knowledge, which is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I mean, at that time, I didn't know what was that because it was my first time. So I went to Google, I started researching, and I saw that, oh, okay. I mean, it wasn't easy because it didn't even look easy because I'm like, what is this? This is not like the Microsoft Office I know, right? And I just said, okay, let me go for it, just because I want to work at WHO and UNICEF. And then I started reading up on it. At that time, I didn't have a laptop. I was using my phone to watch videos online. And I couldn't even afford the courses because they were very expensive. I didn't have a job then. That was during COVID. We were all at home. So I started watching videos with my phone, and I opted in for a program that they eventually gave me a laptop. So that was when I started coding, and yeah.
No, that is really impressive. And you know what it illustrates is that if you're interested in achieving something and you have the interest and the passion, you will get there. And
Yeah,
that's what you showed. And it's interesting to see that you had no contact to technology or this kind of
oh,
technology like
oh,
only 2.5 years ago. And now you're in Dubai and you're working as a developer. So this
yeah,
is obvious. It's quite obvious that you acquired a lot of knowledge in a very short amount of time.
yeah.
So tell us a little bit about how you came from Lagos to Dubai and what happened in the meantime in those 2.5 years.
Okay, I just moved to Dubai 2 months ago. I've
Mm-hmm.
been in Lagos, Nigeria all my life. So I recently came to Dubai in May for a competition in NFT gaming, and I liked the place when I came here. And I'm like, okay, let me let me give this a try, because I mean Dubai is like the crypto hub of the world. Tech is booming here, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be a great. And I realized Dubai is going to be a great stepping stone for my career. So why not? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just said something really interesting. You went to Dubai for an NFT
Yeah.
competition.
Yes. NFT gaming
Okay.
competition. Yes. It
Okay,
was
so tell
great.
us a little bit more about that because you know NFT is a very, very male-dominated topic. So it's a lot
Yeah.
of bro type men who are into NFT. What do
Yes.
you find interesting about that?
Well, so I went to the gaming side of the NFT, not the real NFTs that people, upload digital assets on the blockchain. But
Mhm.
yeah, NFT for me is just it's just there. I'm not really into that part. I'm into the blockchain aspect and the crypto. Though I own some NFTs, I buy and they gift me some NFTs. I mean, it's good to have those around. But yeah, I mean, people have made a lot of money from it. It has changed so many people's lives, and yeah, it's a very good thing that yeah.
Mhm. So, blockchain, you mentioned that a couple of times, and I think it's a very one of the very important forward looking technologies. Tell me, what applications do you personally see in blockchain that makes it interesting for you?
Applications.
Yeah, what kind of, real life applications? So because the blockchain is a blockchain, obviously you store
Yeah.
information, but where do you think it could be applied in the real world? For what
Oh,
use
I mean,
cases? Let's put it
so
that.
blockchain can be applied in so many ways. The use cases are very wide. And we are still trying to bring a lot of things. We have there's something called Lens protocol. It's like the social media, but it's like the Twitter. It's like Twitter, but it's on the blockchain. It's a social media
Mm-hmm,
platform on the blockchain. We have so many products. I did a competition in May, Tech
mm-hmm,
Point Summit in Lagos. So I built a decentralized library where you can buy, borrow, and read books on the blockchain.
mm-hmm,
So it's like I don't know, I've forgotten the name, something playbooks or something, where you
mm-hmm,
borrow books and you read books online. But this one is on the blockchain. There are so many aspects. We have the DAOs, they're there. Then we have fintech, that's like
mm-hmm,
the one that is booming now. And it's very wide. Like we
mm-hmm.
can't we can't finish them. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's true. And I also see, apart from this the ones you mentioned, I know a couple that's from South Africa who is working with blockchain technology, and they're using it, to verify the source of goods that are being, sold. So
yes.
you can use it for this kind of applications as well,
Yeah.
and it's a very, very interesting field.
Yeah.
Um, what I'd be interested in now in Dubai, you moved from Nigeria to Dubai. Tell me a little bit about your family background. So, is there anyone in your family who was in technology, or is it really, you came to this through the WHO website and everyone
Yeah.
else and your family is
Yeah.
doing something else?
Yeah, my dad was a civil servant and my mom is
Mhm,
a nurse.
mhm,
And yeah, so it wasn't nobody, none of my family were into tech. And in fact, my mom didn't like the idea of me. Yes, at first. She wanted me to be a civil servant rather. She
mhm,
wanted me to work at the WHO, right? She was actually rooting for that. And then she realized I was already I was already diverting from the main purpose. And then she's always like, oh, you're always on your laptop every day in your room. Is this what you're doing? How is this going to bring money? So it wasn't easy. I just had to be very stubborn because I knew the end goal of what I was doing. I just needed to make her understand at the end. And then when she saw that it was making money for me, she didn't have a choice. And now she's telling everyone that, oh, my daughter is a coder. That's what she's saying.
Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah, Nigerian parents, they're like that, right? I mean, they will expect you to do, either you become a doctor or you become a lawyer, or civil service is also something that sounds like it's very stable, even though as a fact it's not always, But yeah, good for you that you followed your path. And I think that's also something that's very important, that you have this, if you want to go into tech, especially as a woman, you have to have this dedication and this knowledge that this is what you want to do, right?
Yes.
So now you're in Dubai for like 2.5 months, 3 months. Yes. Tell me a little bit about, I mean, obviously it's not all, bunnies and roses. Are there any obstacles you encountered?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so this is my first time leaving my home to another country, and this is the first time I'm actually living alone. I've been living with my parents even back in Lagos, and yeah, it's quite lonely. And I mean, it's one of the I would just say perks of growing up, because you need to actually leave your comfort zone. If you don't leave your comfort zone, you won't be better. So I just took this. I mean, it's like one of the bravest decisions I've ever made, because it was very swift. I just said, oh, I think I'm going to Dubai, right? Because I was supposed to go for my master's in the UK, but then I realized the money I was going to spend was too much. So I just switched my mind at the last stage, and I just told my mom, and then she said, okay, that's good. So yeah, I mean, I've met a couple of tech people in Dubai, and I see myself, I mean, it's looking promising because there are lots of events happening at the end of the year. And yes, and since I've gotten here and I've changed my LinkedIn to Dubai, I've been getting a lot of DMs, and people have been reaching out to me. And yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah, so I like it, and I can't wait for what is coming. Yeah, so.
I'm glad you're enjoying your adventure, and it is. And you touched on something that's also quite important, and I think it's especially important for young people to understand that you have to leave your comfort zone to achieve great things, right? I mean, it's not when you stay with your parents at home that's comfortable, but if you want to, grow and achieve something, you have to go out into the world, and it can be a bit hard. So the people you're working with mostly, and it's just an interest I have. How many women are there around you in this field, or is it mostly men?
In my former place of work, I was the only female on the dev team. And yeah, and it has always been like that. We might just have 1 or 2 female in the dev team. And yeah, so it's something that we've all been speaking about. People, especially women, they're just scared. And we still tell them that, oh, you don't necessarily have to be coding. You can do the non-technical side. I mean, just for something that goes with your, that aligns with your spirit, and then just go for it, because tech is everywhere. It touches everything in this life. You can be working in the bank before, and then you can actually switch to tech, because there's something like fintech. You can be working in the hospital, you can be in real estate, just look for something that aligns with you. And yeah, so the ratio of men to women, the balance is not there. So
yeah, and it's unfortunate, because what you said is absolutely true, that if you have an interest for something, there's always some kind of technical application that you can go to. So and you said, and I remember you said that before you started, you didn't even know what HTML and what CSS is and these things, and you're now a coder. So do you feel that it was difficult to make this transition?
Yes, it was actually very difficult, because I needed to consume what people that studied computer science consumed, or what they read in 4 years. I needed to do that under 6 months. I mean, it's not like that is like the normal time frame, but because you know that, because you want to achieve something, right, you just have to like set a time frame. And then learning doesn't stop in tech. You learn every day. Everybody, even the senior developers, they still Google some questions and all. So yeah, it was actually very, very difficult. And I was happy to meet some people online, because I'm not the shy type, but so I just I followed some people online. I started asking questions, and that's just it. If you're in tech, you should learn how to ask questions. Don't be shy, meet people, join communities. That's how you can thrive, because everybody is learning. And yeah, so it was really hard, from getting a laptop through the program I got into, which is Dev Career, to doing internships like HNG. Yeah, so it has, and then imposter syndrome, that's normal for everybody. There are days you feel like, oh, what am I doing? I mean, so you just have to keep trying, and then just remember that there is money in tech. So
yes, you're right. There are some aspects that will always be there, and it doesn't matter how long you have done it. That's the interesting part. Even if you've been there for 20 years, you will still have imposter syndrome when you're doing something new.
Yes.
Because there's some people around who will always be better than you, and I would be thinking, okay, can I ever achieve that level? But yeah, it's interesting that you managed to cram, the learnings of 4 years into like 6 months. And I find that story so inspirational. And I think you are such a good role model for women who want to switch, because it shows that if you want to, you can actually, you can just learn that. It doesn't mean, even if you have no prior knowledge of the whole technology, there is a way to go and then become such an active contributor. So what I also was thinking about is, so you obviously you're interested in the blockchain and you're interested in developing, but why are you such an active contributor on GitHub? What is it you do there?
Oh, okay. So because I contribute to open source projects, and then my personal projects too. So GitHub counts your contribution when you push to your repo. So it's called repository. So it counts the amount of times you contribute to a project that is on GitHub. So when you make a pull request and they merge it, so it keeps on counting it and counting it. Yes. So that's just why. Yeah. So I mean, anybody that has a GitHub account and they actively push to GitHub, because there's some people that work every day and they don't push to GitHub, so it doesn't count for them. Yeah. So it just counts when you push. Yes. Yeah.
And in terms of outlook, what are you planning for the next 2 years?
Okay. Wow, that's a big question. Yeah, so next 2 years, wow. Well, I would say I see myself, because currently I'm working on a project that I would be launching soon by next year. And I see myself working at big tech companies, because right now I'm actually trying out developer relations. I'm switching from being a front-end developer, because yeah, I'm getting tired, right? Yeah. So because I realize I am good in marketing. I mean, I've been doing business for 5 years, and the part of being a developer relation, or part of doing developer relations, sorry, or advocacy, is marketing your product to developers, planning, talking to people, gathering a community, making tutorials, teaching people, right? So I see myself doing that, because I've actually done that for a company called Coil. I volunteered actually at a conference in Lagos called Open Source Conference. And yeah, so that's what I'm planning to do. I've actually started, I'm taking some courses on it. And I mean, the good thing is that I'm already a developer, so it's a plus, right? So I just need to know the other side of it. Yeah, so I'm just actively applying for roles in that and trying to upskill too. So yes, so I mean, I just see myself working in companies like Meta, Concessi, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, Binance and the like. So yeah, so.
And I just remembered something. You said you were also an entrepreneur. What exactly is the product you're building?
So for the entrepreneur side, I sell fashion items. I have an
Oh,
online
okay,
store.
okay,
Yes. Yeah,
okay,
for the product I'm building, it's in blockchain. Yes, it's a
hmm
blockchain product. So yes,
okay.
so you
Oh,
listed it
this
there.
is very interesting. Please don't forget to send me your link so we can put it under your video of
All
your
right.
fashion store.
Okay.
So yeah, and I like that you have a balance between the technical and then also something else on the side that
Yeah.
you're doing. So that's wonderful. So it's been a very interesting conversation. I love the journey you have taken, and I think it will inspire other women to, also think about moving into tech. And if you
Thank
could
you.
give them like a recommendation or a tip or something you learned along your journey, what would it be?
I would say consistency. I mean, it's very hard. People say consistency a lot, but it is actually hard to be consistent because you get tired,
Mhm.
right? And you need to meet people, you need to network, you need to jump at every opportunity you see, right? It's not the same journey for everyone. Some people might
Mhm.
start and in the next 6 months they've gotten an internship with Facebook or Apple. So I mean, all of that, when you see things like that, it makes you feel like, oh, am I not doing enough? So you just have to be consistent. Like there are days, and then the times when you don't feel like doing anything, just stay back, just sleep. It's
Mhm.
not a problem. There are days when I don't do anything for a week. I'm just on my phone, scrolling through TikTok, and that's just it. I know that, yes, I've tried. I've tried, yeah, because coding is frustrating. And then meet people, join communities.
Mhm.
You have to like I mean, create a niche for yourself, and yeah, that's just it. And
Yeah.
you can just have a mentor. It's very good to have a mentor too.
It's true. Very good recommendations. I think consistency is always the key because, over time you will accumulate knowledge. You will get better. So consistency is important, but it's also important to give yourself a break,
Yeah.
from time to time and allow yourself to take, some time off and enjoy yourself.
Yes.
And I also like that you talked about not comparing yourself to others. I think it's
Yes.
so important. The only one you should compare yourself, I think, is to yourself, like
Yes.
maybe a couple of months ago, and then you look, okay,
Yes.
have
Your
I
previous
improved?
self.
Yes, your previous self. So, and of course, the networking part is also so important. Find people, to build a network around you that you can
Yeah.
talk to, who understand
Yeah.
you and who will support you.
And they will motivate you too, because I mean,
Exactly.
I get motivated, especially when I see women that are doing stuff, and I'm like, wow, I can
Mhm.
also do this. Yeah. So
Yes, that's the power of role models also, seeing other women who are doing stuff will, inspire you to do something similar. That's why I like talking to women like you. So thank you so much for giving me your time. And I say thank you for this interview.
you're welcome.